So about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I covered this conspiracy theory that was taking the political landscape by storm, claiming that there was this epidemic of Haitian immigrants in a town called Springfield. No, not the one from The Simpsons. I know that's what you're thinking. Claiming that Haitian immigrants in this town were stealing people's pets and eating them. The claims ranged from the idea that restaurants were kidnapping them to use as meat in the kitchens, to claims that videos existed of people slaughtering pets in the street and eating them something out of a scene in The Walking Dead on the road. And most of the people peddling these conspiracies, as we saw in that one Tyler Oliveira video, were, shirtless. All due respect to these folks, but shirtless, meth-addicted weirdos who are complaining about the people coming in and outpaying for their $500 a month rent in houses in a neighborhood. Yeah, we're talking people who have $500 a month rent to live in houses in a neighborhood, and they're upset that immigrants who came to this country, were able to get into this country and thus probably had resources and money to begin with, can pay more than they can afford for the local rent. That's what the entire thing they're mad about. And so the actual anger from the right is that Haitian immigrants are coming into the country because, let's be honest, Haiti's in a really, really bad spot right now, very bad civil unrest. And a lot of people, even people in Haiti who have money and resources and are living, pretty good lives there, are nah, I'm out. This shit is not safe. And so they either seek asylum or immigrate to America. And they had money, they had resources, they had, a decent life in Haiti. And so they come here and they've got enough to survive in a relatively low income, low cost of living area here in America. Haiti is indeed one of the worst countries to live in. Yeah. It is very, very much low quality of life. It's a lot of different Venn diagram circles are crossing over to make Haiti a really, really tragic place to live. Everything from natural disasters to the current government that's in charge, to the economic situation, the general income quality of life for the average Haitian citizen. It's not great. And so obviously, if you can come here and live in a low cost of living area like this town, Springfield, then yeah, it's ideal. And that's what they've been doing. And the response to this has been a panic and fear from white racists in this town, which is what started this conspiracy theory. And we now know, due to the admission of J.D. Vance, that it was all made up. In fact, J.D. Vance claims or admits to being the source of this false claim, which he admits was made up, simply to bring attention to the problem of these immigrants coming into that town. That he needed to make up a crazy lie for people to pay attention was his excuse. Well, apparently now, new development, criminal charges have been filed against Trump and Vance for false claims against the Haitian community. I believe the town itself and a civil rights group is suing them. This is pretty crazy. I guess this might be one of the most extreme dog whistly calls for violence that Trump and Vance, or back when it was Trump and Pence, have ever done. There's definitely been dog whistly oh yeah, go be patriotic at the Capitol, that kind of thing. But outright telling millions and millions and millions of Americans who believe everything you say that immigrants are coming to kill your pets, we're really at the point now where they are desperate to make racist Americans violently angry and scared about immigration. To the point where they're trying to get these people ready to take matters into their own hands. They're pushing that hard.
Brooks, since the presidential debate, the city of Springfield has been under constant surveillance because they've seen numerous threats. Yesterday, one group filed a motion to put both President Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance, behind bars for the unrest that the city has seen.
Legally speaking, it's to me, it's a very good move.
After 2 weeks of threats and claims debunked by city officials and local law enforcement, Haitians in Springfield are seeking legal action.
We have filed criminal charges on behalf of the Haitian Bridge Alliance.
Those criminal charges coming to former President Donald Trump and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. The Haitian community group asking for the two to be put behind bars for false accusations.
We all know that if
They won't
anybody
be,
else
though.
had done this, if anybody else had inflicted this kind of chaos on a community and its residents, action would have been taken by now.
The Haitian Bridge Alliance has asked
They don't call him Teflon Don for no reason. Nothing can stick to ham.
for the arrest of the former president and his running mate, accusing them of disrupting public service, making false claims, and other offenses.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people
They're
that came
eating
in.
the dogs.
They're eating the cats.
Since the presidential debate, the city of Springfield has seen a long list of threats to both the Haitian community and the entire city, including hospitals, schools, and city buildings.
Yeah, I really hope we see just an absolutely zero tolerance policy taken with this stuff. I hope everybody doing this, anyone behind these threats, gets hit with the full frontal brunt force of the law. I know the police don't fuck around when it comes to threats made to schools, so I hope the police do their job here and fucking destroy whoever this piece of shit is that's behind all these bomb threats, from children's hospitals in Boston to schools in Springfield, Ohio. Ohio Riz.
They are so afraid that those allegations would not escalate to violence or mass shooting.
While the Haitian Community and Support Center is not charging the former president, they say their community is in constant fear and anxiety. So they hope that he and the Ohio senator are held accountable in court.
I would really like to hear them before a judge and tell the judge where they got all those things from and keep them accountable for what they say.
Haitian leaders are asking.
But free speech absolutism, though. Listen, guys, you can't censor unpopular speech. This is what the First Amendment is here to protect, obviously. That was, of course, the intent of the First Amendment, is to protect this kind of speech.
The Clark County Municipal Court to determine whether there is probable cause for these allegations. Reporting live in the newsroom, Kadeja Hawkins, 2 News.
Nice. Yeah, so pretty good video. Does a good job of covering the situation, but that is not the end of the story. You see, Donald Trump is really dropping the mask lately when you consider, obviously, the whole Haitians eating dogs thing, but it goes further. Apparently, Donald Trump, in the recent days, has now started to indicate that if he loses the election, it will be the fault of Jewish voters. I'm not joking. We very well may be seeing Trump gearing up to blatantly and openly claim that it is the Jewish population of this country keeping him from getting elected. He is quite upset about the fact that the majority of American Jews want to vote for Kamala Harris, and he indicates this upsetness in as close as you can get to just outright being anti-Semitic as you can get without openly being anti-Semitic.
If I don't win this election, and the Jewish people would really have a lot to do with that if that happens, because at 40%, that means 60% of the people are voting for the enemy.
If I lose, then the Jewish people would have a lot to do with that. Yeah, so he's just kind of saying it now. He's just kind of like outright saying it. And it gets worse. It gets worse. There's been a lot of people covering this, as you can imagine. And this has been a bit of a spicy moment for Trump. And so you've got a couple articles. Here's a good one from Associated Press. Former President Donald Trump on Monday charged that Jews who vote for Democrats hate Israel and hate their religion, igniting a firestorm of criticism from the White House and Jewish leaders. That's right. This is Donald Trump engaging in anti-Semitism for the benefit of Israel. You got to remember, as much as little bitch-made lefties online will complain and whine about voting for Kamala Harris, meaning you're complicit in genocide, Donald Trump is good buddies with Netanyahu, has promised to help Israel finish the job in Gaza if he gets elected. And on top of that, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has already been planning out property development in the land that will once have been Gaza if Trump gets elected. The plan for the Trump family is to annihilate every last building and every last person in Gaza and to turn it into beachfront real estate investment property. If you don't believe me, let me bring up the quote. Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, by the way, Gaza prime real estate. Just a little reminder, by the way, of how different these scenarios are. Jared Kushner has praised the very valuable potential of Gaza's waterfront property and suggested Israel should remove citizens while it cleans up the strip. The former property dealer, married to Donald Trump's daughter, Ivanka, made the comments in an interview at Harvard University on the 15th of February. Harvard is like the biggest conservative fuckhead factory ever as far as like colleges go. It's like the only college that supposedly isn't woke and just pumps out conservatives is Harvard for some reason. The interview was posted on the YouTube channel of the Middle East Initiative, a program of Harvard's Kennedy School of Government, earlier this month. Kushner was a senior foreign policy advisor under Trump's presidency and was tasked with preparing a peace plan for the Middle East. Critics of the plan, that means he is literally part of Trump's administration, and his job is to prepare peace plans for the Middle East, and he is calling Gaza prime beachfront real estate. This is a family that's made all of their money through property investment. What do you think is going to happen if Trump wins? If you actually give a fuck about the lives in Gaza, then you will recognize that voting for Kamala Harris is not being complicit in genocide. It is preventing a genocide. I will outright say voting for Kamala Harris is preventing a genocide because Trump is promising one. An explicit and undeniable genocide. Hassan fans are confused. Oh, they'll get real mad at me for this. I don't care. I want those people to be mad at me. They should be. I like it when dumb people are angry at me. It's validation that I'm always right. Trump, in an interview, had been asked about Democrats' growing criticism of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over his handling of the war in Gaza as the civilian death toll continues to mount. I actually think they hate Israel, Trump responded to his former aide, Sebastian Gorka. I think they hate Israel, and the Democrat Party hates Israel. Trump, who last week became the Republican Party's presumptive nominee, went on to charge any Jewish person that votes for Democrats hates their religion. They hate everything about Israel, and they should be ashamed of themselves because Israel will be destroyed. The comments sparked immediate backlash from the White House, President Joe Biden's campaign, and Jewish leaders. The vast majority of Jewish Americans identify as Democrats, but Trump has often accused them of disloyalty, perpetuating what critics say is an anti-Semitic trope. At the White House, spokesperson Andrew Bates cast the comments as vile and unhinged anti-Semitic rhetoric without mentioning Trump by name. As anti-Semitic crimes and acts have increased across the world, among them the deadliest attack committed against the Jewish people since the Holocaust, leaders have an obligation to call hate what it is and bring Americans together against it, he said. There is no justification for spreading toxic, false stereotypes that threaten fellow citizens. None. Biden's campaign said the only person who should be ashamed here is Donald Trump. Trump is going to lose again this November because Americans are sick of his hateful resentment, personal attacks, and extreme agenda, said spokesperson James Singer. Jonathan Greenblatt, who heads the Anti-Defamation League, said accusing Jews of hating their religion because they might vote for a particular party is defamatory and patently false. Quote, serious leaders who care about the historic U.S.-Israel alliance should focus on strengthening rather than unraveling bipartisan support for the state of Israel, he wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter. I like that, just outright calling out. What are you even talking about, dude? Like, the state of Israel has bipartisan support, both among voters and in our government. There's no one who's actually in favor of Israel being destroyed as a country. We rely heavily on Israel, and Israel relies heavily on us. Obviously, Israel isn't going to be abandoned by us, no matter what party wins. However, there is a party that wants to help Israel's government and military commit genocide explicitly, and there is the party that is actively trying to get peace agreements and ceasefires passed, that being the Democrats. Mind you, Trump has begged Netanyahu to refuse any peace agreements or ceasefire agreements, saving lives, even though it would save lives, simply because Trump wants the war to continue all throughout the election so it makes him look better. because the people who refuse to vote for Kamala because of this war are having the exact reaction Trump wants. Everything is going to plan. If you think that voting Democrat is being complicit in genocide, then I want you to know that Trump and Netanyahu are so fucking happy you think that, and you are absolutely playing your part in their plan perfectly. You're doing exactly what they want. Just know that. Just know that. In fact, I think oh my god, this might be hold on. Oh my god, this was like a big story, I think, as well. I think I had this recommended in my content suggestions. Let me see if I can find this. This was a wild headline, if true. Oh, yep, here it is. So if you're wondering whether or not foreign adversaries and other nations that recognize that they can manipulate Trump and our government into either not doing anything or doing things that benefit them, then look at this. Donald Trump has announced that if he wins, he will lift sanctions on Russia and Iran. This is why Putin was paying millions to Republican influencers. He's bought control of Trump's party. So Netanyahu, leaders in Iran, and the leader of Russia, Putin, all have their hands in Trump's pocket. They all recognize a Trump victory is best for them because they recognize Trump's victory is weakening America. If you are falling for this propaganda, there are multiple adversarial nations investing, no doubt, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions in the case of Russia, into convincing people left and right to vote for Trump because America is for sale. That's a really good way to put it, SSW Bradu.
So my specific question is, would you strengthen or modify any of these economic sanctions programs, particularly Russia?
We literally have sanctions on Russia because of the war in Ukraine. Because they're invading Ukraine, we've sanctioned Russia. And Trump is promising to lift those sanctions, something that was meant to be at least a sign that we don't support their military action against Ukraine. He promises to lift those.
Including the pipeline you mentioned.
Well, it's a great question. The problem with what we have with sanctions, and I was a user of sanctions, but I put them on and take them off as quickly as possible because ultimately it kills your dollar and it kills everything the dollar represents, and we have to continue to have that be the world currency. I think it's...
I'm pretty sure we don't buy more from Russia than Russia buys from us. So I think more likely than not, like, would we have benefit or lost from sanctioning Russia? It doesn't really matter. Like, we shouldn't just not sanction Russia because it might have like a marginal effect on the U.S. dollar when they're invading another country, a sovereign nation, and trying to annex it. But I am curious about that. Are the sanctions super harmful to the U.S. economy? The sanctions on Russia? I feel like they have to have some effect, but it's got to be marginal. Like, not that big. Like, the war itself has to be hurting our economy more than the sanctions on Russia. That would make more sense to me. Would be that the war itself is hurting our economy than our sanctions on Russia are. I would bet my bottom dollar on that.
It's important, I think, would be losing a war. If we lost the dollar as the world currency, I think that would be the equivalent of losing a war. That would make us a third world country, and we can't let it happen. So I use sanctions very powerfully against countries that deserve it. And
if the U.S. dollar stopped being the top currency in the world, the entire world economy would go belly up. We are the world's economy. Like, we're like the fucking gold in the vault that makes the world's economy actually worth anything. Like, we are that gold standard. We are the gold of the economic gold standard of America. If our U.S. dollar stops being worth anything, oh my God, is everything so fucked. Like, even China is fucked in that situation. It's bad.
And then I take them off because, look, you're losing Iran. You're losing Russia. China is out there trying to get their currency to be the dominant currency, as you know better than anybody. All of these things are happening. You're losing so many countries because there's so much conflict with all of these countries that you're going to lose that, and we can't lose that. So I want to use sanctions as little as possible. Yeah.
So he's promising to lift sanctions on... Oh my God. I apologize for the burps. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, Trump is promising to lift sanctions on Russia and Iran if he is elected. And this is very clearly the reason why these foreign adversarial nations are so down for a Trump victory. They recognize that it'll mean America is basically in the hands of that. It'll be like Saruman manipulating King Theoden of Rohan into doing his bidding after essentially putting his mind under a spell. You could think of it a lot like that, where like Putin will have Trump's mind in a spell of sorts, and America will basically be getting run by Putin by proxy. That is more or less what Trump is running on, and it's kind of terrifying, like legitimately so. And we've got Trump promising to his supporters that if he loses, then it'll be the fault of the Jewish people in this country for voting Democrat. We've got him already having stoked violence against the Haitian immigrant community in this town based off of a completely made-up conspiracy theory, which, despite being admittedly made up, was still able to motivate a shitload of anger, rage, and hatred, and potential violence. It is a scary, scary time. And Trump is getting more brazen and mask off by the day, so I hope you guys are down to vote. I hope you guys are down to vote. In fact, if you guys haven't already, please consider checking out Progressive Victory. It is a good political organization helping in the fight to keep Trump out of office and to keep other Republicans out of office, not even just in the general election. And you don't even have to join up with Progressive Victory. Find a local progressive political campaign near you to work with, or an organization to work with. Knock on doors, like phone bank. You don't even have to leave the house to phone bank, but know that we are in that final stretch. And if you find somebody who might not know who to vote for and convince them that Kamala Harris is the best option, chances are they're going to be voting for Kamala Harris on Election Day, because we are in that final stretch. Not a lot of time for people's minds to be changed, and not a lot of time for people to forget things they've learned. So now is the most important time to start convincing friends, family, and strangers to vote for Kamala Harris, especially if you live in a purple swing state, or a state that might go from red to blue. We don't really know. Like, people are saying that we might see a blue Florida or a blue Texas. I don't think we will, but if you think it's possible, go out there and make it happen. Impress me, please. I'm sure you would love to see my reaction to a blue Texas on election night. But with that said, if you enjoyed this video and found it in any way entertaining or informative, consider dropping a like. Every thumbs up on my videos, no matter when, where, or what you're watching, helps my stuff a lot, basically forcing YouTube to push my content and the algorithm out to more people, so I really do appreciate it, as always. Consider commenting down below as well, and subscribing and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video. Consider following my social medias, linked down below in the description if you want to see me on other platforms, and perhaps even join my fan Discord through the link as well. It is completely free to join. It's the main hub of my community. I host game events, call-in streams, and watch parties there, and I also announce all my new uploads and streams too. So even if YouTube doesn't tell you, at least you'll know my Discord will, as long as you got notifications on. And of course, if you are feeling generous and you've got the money for it and you feel like it, consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, or buying merch to the Streamlabs link down below. If you want to support the stream, a little extra. Keep the lights on and a roof above my head. It really means a lot. With all that said, thank you so much for watching as always, and have a good one.